Howard.
Bill, I'm listening to some of your press conferences, and I think you think you're a pretty good defensive team, but today, you guys are really good defensively. Is that really the heart and soul of your team?
I think it has to be for us to be good because we're not good enough offensively to carry the load when other teams are playing well. The key for us, and that's the key for a lot of teams, is we need to be at least average to better on offensively, but we need the other team to play poor. And most of my better teams have been really good on that end that could make another team play bad, because to win in this league, you're not against these defenses. You're not going to play good all the time. You got to make sure they play worse than you. And today, we weren't. I don't know that we were great, but I thought collectively, scouting report, I thought we did a lot of good things on that end. A lot of good things.
How good was Ernest?
He's great. It's a different deal. Ball screens are great, but to be effective in a ball screen, you need to be able to at least challenge the rim sometime, and we haven't been able to do that all year long. So that was big that you get a rim runner, and then KJ's not, but KJ's good in that little pocket area. So it adds an element to our offense.
And then defensively too.
I thought he's active. When you switch as much as we do, and the reason we switch is because we're crappy at ball screen defense. So we're not great defensively. But the reason we switch, the problem is, can you guard Groves when he rolls down, and can you guard Sherfield when the big guy switched on him? And for the most part, we did a good job in that area.
This game in Lawrence was tight, went to the wire. Today you blow them out. Why? What's the difference in a month?
Well, I think that honestly, I think we were better today than we were then, and they were probably better that day than they were then. I think a big part, Grant was able to get 25 on us there, and I don't know what he ended up with today. It didn't seem like much though. What was it?
10.
So Grant got 10 today. To me, just that little deal of 25 to 10, because that was our emphasis, not to let him, beat us. And and something else, we guarded them. I mean, my game plan the first time stunk. I mean, we trapped the post, we did some things, and they played out of it, made us pay. So we didn't do that this time, and it worked out better for us.
Rough game for Wilson against Texas. Starts off slow in this game, then has a nice run late in the first half. How important was it to see him do that?
Yeah, he needed to see the ball going. For a guy that's averaging 20, you don't think he needs to see the ball going to the basket, but he did, and I could tell. Yeah, he was much better today. We made 5 threes, so we didn't shoot a lot of threes. We played good against Texas and hardly shooting threes, and so I think we became a team that everybody was nervous about our threes and are doing a better job defending the arc, to a team now that's getting downhill more and scoring more points at the rim.
Bill, what do you like out of Juan offensively?
He took shots. He's aggressive. When you play drop coverage on the ball screens, you can get that. You can get to that floater. He only took 11 shots, but he's a guy that needs to look to. For us to be good, he's got to score, because people are going to say beat us with him, and I'm not sure he beat anybody, but today he was pretty damn good offensively.
Are you close to not having to remind him of that, do you think?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. He sees the game differently. He sees the game that sometimes his numbers don't really equate to winning, when I'm trying to convince him your numbers do equate to winning. But yeah, he's a good little guard though.
You mentioned Ernest's activity. Just as a team, how do you think you guys did defensively in terms of the activity level?
Well, I can't speak for them, but I'm sure Porter's first thing he's going to look at is turnovers, and of course I could too. We had way too many, but if he looks at turnovers and then how many were forced or how many were not forced, and I don't know what we did, but I'll bet you when we added up, I bet you our deflection number was pretty high today.
Bill, can you talk a little bit about how, and you mentioned this earlier this season, how you guys are better as a team when you kind of balance the scoring load today versus the game like, Jalen, how was that offense ceiling kind of raised?
I think when Jalen has to carry us, it keeps us in games, but everybody stops and watches Jalen. I think we're better when we got 5 guys that are threats, and I think Jalen would rather play that way too. It's nice to have a guy that can take and make a big shot, when things are breaking down, but it's much nicer to have balance. And, you know, if I was guarding us, I'd make sure, you know, you take away those two. And you know, for the most part, you did a great job of Grady, you know, taking him away. But when you pressure out, now you're playing 4-on-4 and you get more driving angles and stuff.
Is Zuby all the way back? Or-
Excuse me?
Is Zuby all the way back, or is he still working?
He's working on it, but he practiced Thursday and Friday, so he's cleared to play, so he can play.
Slow start to the second half too, but both times responded, especially in the second half. What do they flip there? What do they switch on when they respond to that, when it goes well?
You know, sometimes it's a law of averages. Sometimes they make a hard shot and you miss an open shot, but I do think there's too much inconsistency with how we start halves. To start the game, I'm not sure we didn't play well, but I'm not sure it's because we didn't play well. I think we missed shots, and if we didn't guard them fairly well to start the game, we'd be down 18-4 instead of 11-4. So, you know, it was you know, you look up and you're pissed because you're down 7 at the 12-minute mark, but they only scored 11 points. So it wasn't like our defense was bad. It was just that our offense was so bad.
You'll be back in this state Tuesday night. What stands out about OSU?
Well, they're probably the best defensive team in our league right now, and they got Cisse and Boone both back. And they played here against. You guys know the stats. I think those two combined to go 16 to 20 from the field, both 8 of 10. That's the best 5-man production in our league by far, because they're not playing them together as much. They're backing each other up, so they're spreading it, and I think Anderson's hurt, if I'm not mistaken, but they got good guards and they can shoot it, so it'll be a hard game. They're playing really well. Mike's done a really good job.
Is Ernest ready for that kind of challenge? I mean, his minutes are up lately and he looks better.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I hope so. He's gonna play. So.
It's been such a stretch since you played OSU, 6-7 weeks. Can you take much from that first meeting back in Lawrence?
Well, we obviously did a really poor job on Bryce. You know, Bryce got loose and made 4 or 5 threes, if I'm not mistaken. I can, you know, the thing about it is that this happens a lot, and this may be to Barry's point. When you play a home and home every year, if you handle somebody easily at home and then the next game's on the road, that doesn't feel near as good, because sometimes the players go into it thinking we're better. The way OU played at our place, our players go in thinking we're lucky and we got to, you know, play our butts off here. And hopefully our guys will have the same attitude with Oklahoma State, because it was a close game also.
Bill, how much better is Ernest in practice the last few weeks during this research?
He's been better. He's been better. He's playing to his athletic ability and seems more locked in, taking it serious. You know, he's a fun-loving kid, and sometimes with that, maybe you don't take it quite as serious, you know, all the time. But he's been much better. But KJ's been good all year long.
You talked about wanting this team to embrace other teams play poorly or making them play poorly. Where do you think you guys are at in that progression?
Well, we didn't make Texas play bad. I mean, they hung 80 on us. So today was better. And Iowa State did anything they wanted to us. So I think we're, you know, up and down. But hopefully we're gaining that identity. I don't think a team can be good to actually know who they are. And I think we're still figuring out who we are and what our identity is. So hopefully we can continue going.
All right, thanks, Coach.